You know that feeling, right? You wake up early, you put in the long hours, you're constantly chasing that next promotion. But when you look at your bank account at the end of the month, you feel like you're just treading water. Well, let's get into that because today we're going to explore a really powerful idea. What if all that hard work isn't actually designed to get you ahead? And that brings us to this really provocative question at the heart of our whole explainer. What if the entire system, the whole idea of earning a salary, isn't a path to financial freedom, but is actually a pretty clever trap designed to keep you running in place, but never quite winning the race? And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. Get this. A shocking 41% of people earning high six-figure incomes say they're still living paycheck to paycheck. That right there proves that even a really big salary doesn't automatically mean you're financially secure. Not even close. And that leads us right into what we can call the six-figure paradox. It's that super confusing and, let's be honest, incredibly frustrating gap between earning what everyone considers a good income and actually building real, lasting wealth. I mean, just look at the huge disconnect here. The expectation is that a big salary equals freedom, but the reality in 2026? While the median household is making around $84,000, the median net worth, that's what you actually own after you subtract all your debts, is only about $192,000. Think about that. For a whole lifetime of work, that's just not a lot of accumulated wealth. And this, right here, is the absolute core of the problem, the salary trap. It's like a system of golden handcuffs. Your employer pays you just enough to be comfortable, right? Enough for a decent life, enough to make you not want to quit. But it's almost never enough to give you the real fuel you need to build wealth that grows all by itself. So here's the crucial part. You're trading your one truly finite resource, your time, for an income that stops the second you stop working. So, okay, how does this trap actually work? It's not some big conspiracy. It's just built on a few kind of invisible systems that keep so many of us stuck in this exact cycle. The mechanics are actually pretty simple. Your employer, naturally, benefits when you stick around, so you get paid for comfort, not for creating leverage that could make you truly wealthy. Your income is linear. It's 1 hour of your time for 1 hour's worth of pay. But real wealth, the kind that lasts, that comes from assets, things like businesses or investments that can work for you 24/7 long after you've clocked out for the day. Now, on top of the trap itself, there are these really powerful forces that are silently eating away at every single paycheck you earn. Let's break down these invisible paycheck killers, because they're the real reason why even a bigger salary so often doesn't lead to a bigger bank account. Okay, first up is probably the sneakiest one of them all, lifestyle creep. You know how it goes. You get a raise, and what happens? Suddenly you're thinking, maybe a new car. Or you move to a bigger house, take nicer vacations, and just like that, that extra money is gone before it ever even had a chance to be invested. It's a totally human pattern that traps even the most disciplined people. And this chart, wow, it paints a really painful picture of where the money goes for a typical high earner. Just look at that tiny little sliver for savings and investment, just 1%. After taxes take a huge bite, and then housing, and then not lifestyle spending we just talked about, there is practically nothing left over to actually build wealth with. It's insane. The second killer, the tax system itself. And you gotta understand this, it's basically structured to favor people who own assets over people who earn a salary. The money you make from your job gets taxed at some of the highest rates out there, up to 37%. But the money investors make from selling assets, that's often taxed at much, much lower rates. The system literally rewards ownership, not just hard work. And finally, as if that weren't enough, you've got the third paycheck killer, inflation. It's the constant, silent thief that just eats away at the value of every single dollar you work so hard to earn and save. Even when your money is just sitting there in the bank, it's losing its power over time. So if the salary trap and all these paycheck killers are so effective, how in the world does anyone get ahead? Well, this is where we pivot from the problem to the solution. Millionaires don't just earn more money. They think and they act totally differently. They shift their entire focus from earning income to owning assets. And the numbers really spell this out perfectly. The average net worth in the US is over $600,000, which sounds pretty good, right? But the median, that's the number for the person smack dab in the middle, is only $192,000. So why is there such a huge gap? It's because a very small number of super wealthy people, the asset owners, pull that average way, way up, while most salary earners get left far behind.
It really all comes down to these two fundamentally different ways of thinking. The salaried employee is focused on one income source, their job, and their strategy is just to trade time for money. The wealth builder, on the other hand, is obsessed with creating multiple income streams and acquiring assets that generate cash flow for them even while they're sleeping.
And the data on this is just mind-blowing. A staggering 80% of millionaires are self-made. 65% of them have at least 3 different sources of income. They completely understand that a salary isn't the end goal. It's just one tool in their toolbox, a tool to help them buy assets that do the real heavy lifting. They leverage their money. They don't just trade their time for it.
So the single most important takeaway here is to start thinking beyond your next paycheck. It's time to completely reframe how you see your salary. It's not the price, it's the fuel for your wealth building engine. It's the starting point, not the finish line.
So what does this mental shift actually look like? Well, it breaks down into 3 simple steps. First, you have to accept your salary's limitation. It's for stability, but it's not going to make you rich. Second, every single time you get a raise, you have to consciously choose to buy an asset instead of just upgrading your lifestyle. And third, you have to actively use your paycheck to build or buy other sources of income. That's the game.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? The people who actually escape the salary trap are the ones who learn to master this game of leverage. They stop trading their finite time for linear dollars. Instead, they learn how to convert their time and their money into assets that can grow and work for them forever.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Your salary, no matter what size it is an incredibly powerful tool. It's a starting block. And the real question isn't how much you earn. The real question is, what are you going to build with it?